to a human I can depend on to bring me happy. Thank you, happy.
To all species and life forms watching on Earth and other planets intercepting our broadcast signal on television, welcome to a piece of fandom surrounding the Star Trek universe. Our California-based talk show with news and interviews. That's us. This is A Captain's Log, your one-stop source for more than a half-century of Star Trek. I'm your host, Ambassador Brian Kreutz, and I'm joined by our friend all the way from planet XO3, our co-host, Raj.
Hey!
Well, Raj, it's great to see you too. I'm glad you made it on time here today. You had some tough luck with transportation in the past several episodes, which of course is very understandable considering the enormous distance that you travel.
I booked a charter flight to get here on time so I wouldn't miss our visit with Commander Non.
That's great, Raj. I'm glad that you're as excited as we are to interview Star Trek Discovery actress Rachel Ancheril. She's our interview guest this week. One of the most prominent guests who we've ever had the honor of beaming up so far in our 2-year history.
But why isn't Lily here? Does she not like Non?
On the contrary, Raj, I'm so excited about Rachel's visit that I'm taking time out from my special mission so that I can talk to her also.
Well, I was about to introduce my co-host, but she's beat me to it. Lily Fox Lim, it's great to have you with us here, as always, even though you're not by my side this week.
Well, Brian, I'm currently on the planet Cestus 3. Now, Raj, you're the most experienced person that I know of in terms of traveling the universe, so I have a feeling that you know the significance of this planet already.
Why, of course! Cestus 3 is the location of Captain Kirk's epic fight with the Gorn, the green monster, back in a Season 1 episode of the original series entitled Arena.
It sure is, Raj. You have a great android memory.
Hey, I just realized something. Isn't Gorn the name of a guy who writes for the show?
Not quite, Raj, but you're very close. His name is Zorn. Lek Zorn.
Well, you know, Lily, I'm amazed at how much Cestus 3 looks like Vasquez Rocks in North Los Angeles County, just a few miles north on Earth.
4 episodes of the original series were filmed there, as were the movies Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, and 2009 Star Trek, plus episodes of 4 other Star Trek series like The Next Generation, Voyager, Enterprise, and Picard.
Raj, you always have such a vast wealth of knowledge. And in addition, more than 200 other productions have taken place at Vasquez Rocks, including the movies Blazing Saddles, The Muppet Movie, and The Flintstones, and the TV series Zorro, The Fugitive, MacGyver, and Roswell, just to name a few.
One more piece of trivia about Vasquez Rocks. Now, it was finally mentioned by its real name in the pilot episode of Star Trek Picard. The character of Rafi Musiker is said to reside there.
And BK, you and I both coming from big baseball cities, St. Louis and Los Angeles, respectively, we were pleasantly surprised to learn that Cestus 3 actually has its own baseball league.
Yes, that was mentioned in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode. The 6-team league was named after Captain Christopher Pike, and 2 of the teams were the Pike City Pioneers and the Cestus Comets.
Well, we're recording this during a very special week on the Star Trek calendar. Tuesday, April 5th is the annual First Contact Day.
According to the storyline, First Contact Day was celebrated to honor the Warp 1 flight of the Phoenix and first open contact between humans and Vulcans on April the 5th, 2063 in Bozeman, Montana on Earth.
The movie Star Trek First Contact gives all the details, and even though we're still 41 years away from the event that the holiday represents, April 5th is still a very special day for us.
A Captain's Log returns in a moment.
Welcome back to A Captain's Log. Today we're interviewing Rachel Ancheril.
She's appeared in 14 episodes of Star Trek Discovery as the Barzan alien Commander Non. Rachel Ancheril, welcome to A Captain's Log.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real honor.
Rachel, welcome to A Captain's Log. So Rachel, what got you interested in pursuing a career in acting?
I literally got into acting because I was trying to escape a corporate job. So I had I had been working my way up, I guess, in a corporate ladder, and I really wanted out. But I, in all fairness, I did go to an arts high school, and I got in for visual arts, but I tried really hard to get in for drama, and they denied me like 2 or 3 times. So, but luckily I got into art, and that was a really great experience. I was in this corporate job, and I felt like my soul was being sucked away. So I thought, okay, maybe I can, do some commercial print or something. I've got a big mouth, like maybe lipstick ads or something. And then this agent was like, "You're not a model," which I never pretended I was. But she's like, "What about acting?" And I was like, well, I haven't had much luck with that lately. And she's like, "Well, let's give it a try." And then within a month, like 3 weeks later, I booked, ironically, a commercial print job for like a salad dressing or something, where I had to model, which is still to this day, I'm like, model, okay. But then like acting jobs started coming along. So I think I kind of more or less fell into it.
Prior to Star Trek Discovery, you performed in dozens of Canadian movies and TV series. What are some of the highlights of that work? Things that you think your American fans would enjoy as well?
Rookie Blue, if you want to know some of the highlights for me, like the first gig I did, because I know there's going to be Trekkies and Trekkers watching this, so I'm going to tie in some people that I've worked with on Trek into my past acting gigs. So the first role that was a big deal for me was a guest star role on a show called King. And it featured Amy Price Francis and Alan Van Sprang and Karen Robinson and Ross of Sutherland. So Alan Van Sprang, it was so fun to work with him again in Star Trek. And then also Sean Doyle was guest starring, and he played my boss. I was playing an undercover cop, and he played my boss. And I gave him some sass, and he doesn't remember that. He tells me every time, "Oh, I keep forgetting that we did King." He thinks of Rookie Blue. But a funny thing about King is that because it was my first gig, like big gig, not like non-union and student films where, there was a lot of pressure because I'm working with like people that know what they're doing. And I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. Disclaimer. But I remember in the read-through, and I had been given some really ill advice where someone was like, at the read-through, yeah, you don't give it your all. You read the lines very flat, and you don't give anything. Which for anybody who wants to be an actor, and don't take that advice. You kind of need to know what you're doing. So I remember one line was like, "Get him, King." Like she's running after him, and I'm holding back one bad guy, and she's going after the other bad guy, and I'm like, in the read through, I go like, "Get him, King," and everyone broke out into hysterics. And Alan Van Sprang, he was looking at me kind of weird, and it was sort of like, is she being serious? Does she not know what she's doing? Have we hired the wrong person, or is she joking? Like, I was so humiliated, so embarrassed, but it was such an amazing time. It was so good. He didn't even say it. It was like, we're sitting around the big table, right? He didn't say it. It was all, I was reading it all in his eyes, and he's just, like, he was literally like, looking around at the director and then back at me, like, and everyone else is laughing.
Yes, this is so cool.
But he's so awesome. I mean, they were so good to me. What a great cast. I was really sad when the show ended after their second season, because it really felt like they found their footing. And Karen Robinson too. She did people know her because of Schitt's Creek, but she was like, she was, I can't remember who she played in Star Trek, but I can visualize her. Unfortunately, I didn't get to work with her again.
Yes. It's all come full circle for you, Rachel.
yeah, like 3 out of the 5 Star Trek connection.
Connection right there.
Right there. Yeah, what a circle, right? It's crazy when you think about it. It's hopefully that circle keeps going.
That's right.
We want more circles. And that director, Rob Lieberman, he's done some really great films. He's known for an Alien movie or something that he directed. He was amazing. He gave me my first shot, and then he hired me 2 weeks later for another like bit part, which I didn't have to audition for, which was to me at the time crazy. And then I worked with him later in a show called Art of More, which is Dennis Quaid and Kate Bosworth, and that was a good time. But a major highlight was definitely Rookie Blue, because I played a character who was suffering from bipolar disorder. And I didn't know anything about the world of mental illness, and I didn't know anything about the stigmas. And so that role taught me a lot. And I've met some really amazing people who I still, to this day, keep in touch with 8 years later. And it's anytime someone reaches out to me because of that role, specifically that role, it means a lot to me. Because as an actor, for most actors, right, you want to be able to reach out to your audience and touch them in a way that is a positive way and a relatable way. So that was a big deal for me. That was a really big deal for me.
Rachel, in the heartbreaking Discovery episode titled Die Trying, you make an exit from the series. And I know for us fans, this is a very heartbreaking moment to see you leave, because I'm sure it was very heartbreaking for you as well, personally as an actor. Now, your character, Nan, selflessly volunteers to stay aboard and complete the Barzan watch over the USS Tikov before returning to your home planet, Barzan 2. The Discovery leaves you behind, and it's a very sad moment. Please tell us how you felt reading the script, knowing you're leaving Discovery and the show for quite some time.
I knew that was coming. I am... I'm so sorry. I am definitely at fault for that. I love that group of people very, very much. And when I was so excited to read that script. I didn't know if they were going to take sort of more of the action side of things for Nan, sort of like Ariam's exit, right? Like I didn't know if it was going to be some sort of situation like that. I was not expecting anything emotional at all. And the first time I read it, I sobbed like a baby. The second time I read it, I sobbed like a baby. I finally got it under control. And it's the lines too. I mean, it's both worlds. It's Rachel's world and it's Nan's world. And it's so beautifully written too. And that's Alan. He's like, all the writers are amazing. But I should have known when I saw Alan's name on the script, oh, this is going to be a tearjerker. And at the read through, I was like, I'm fine. Sit down at my spot, my little table cards there, like with Nan on it and my script there. And I sit down, I'm fine. And we're reading it. And like, this is the script going on. And I'm having trouble choking out the words. And I felt another time where I was as red as a tomato because I felt like I'm so unprofessional. Like I should be able to read these lines and get out these words. But I was so overcome by also the Rachel emotion as well. So I'm like, and I'm like choking out words. And I mean, I don't know if they thought I was acting, overacting. I don't know what was going through their brains. See, I get really concerned with how other people are feeling. So the end of that read through, and everyone's running back, right? Because the read through is through our lunch. So everyone's running back to get back to set and touches and stuff. And I went up and I apologized to like Tunde and like Alan. Like I was apologizing to all the powers that be because I was like, I promise I won't be hamming it up like that. Like I promise I do know what I'm doing. I can act. Don't worry. And they were like, yeah, no, it's fine. Like they were like, why are you saying this stuff? And I was like, I don't know, because I was just like a ball of emotion. And I am professional. I swear I'm professional. But it was difficult to let her go, and not knowing when I was coming back. I was sure, because we left on such good notes, both Nan and I, and so I was sure that at some point maybe they'll think about it, but yeah, not knowing how long, yeah. So it was a bittersweet moment. I really did not have any concept of how much love Nan would get. I had no idea. And I'd been warned, and I was like, yeah, whatever, right? Anthony, Rachel, they're gonna, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, it's this little red shirt, what are you talking about? And I wanted to explore other things as well and take other opportunities. I really want to be in comedy, like really, really badly. So, and Discovery, such a beautiful show, but it goes for a very long time. Like the shooting is like a really long time. Months.
A captain's log returns in a moment.
Welcome back, Trekkies, Trekkers, Terrans, androids, and synthetics. Oh, don't forget the holograms and... Oh, wait, Brian and Lily are giving me the glare. We're discussing everything awesome about Star Trek with the highly talented actress Rachel Ann Cherrill.
Rachel, before the selfless act of Nan leaving Discovery to finally return to her homeworld Barzan 2, your character encountered no other members of her people since leaving her homeworld. As an actor in Star Trek, playing a character from a species seen only once, way back in 1989 in The Next Generation, what was the actor research like when you auditioned and landed this role of Commander Nan?
The audition, I don't remember. I just remember that it was my first audition in person. I had auditioned a couple times before for the show, but I was like away shooting. So I was rigging up chairs and furniture and reading to nobody. I had no reader. So they were probably like, okay, this audition sucks, because she couldn't even get another actor to read with her. But tis the life of the actor on the road. Sometimes you can't. So this was my first audition in person, and I've said this to you, probably already know this story, but the only thing I remember from that audition was there was a code name for the show way back. It's totally different now. So, and it was the name of a state, and it's far away from here. And I was driving back home, leaving the audition room, and there's a car in front of me with that plate. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Is that a sign? Anyway, let that go. And then I heard, hey, Rach, you booked it. Great. I was like, awesome. That's like, I think it was like 2 or 3 episodes. And I was like, cool, like 2 or 3 episodes I'm in. And I didn't know, I don't think maybe they even knew exactly what they wanted me to be, what species. I didn't know if I was human. I didn't know if I was alien. I had no idea. Okay. So I went in and I had a, what do they call it now? A body cast done, which is the trippiest thing I've ever done in my life. I feel it was done in the evening, and the person who did it, Chris, I adore him, and I've worked with him on other shows. And I had not met him at that time, though. And I was like, this dude could kill me and no one would know, because your body cast, right? Like your whole, everything is covered except for your nostrils, so you can breathe. But everything else is covered. So they have a perfect cast of your face and your neck and your shoulders, and I had the arms done. Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
It's like, it's intense. It's like, but it's so cool. And then they build on the cast of you, right? Like they build on your face essentially. So that was so awesome. So then I went in for my screen test, and I go into the prosthetics trailer, and Rocky had like a concept drawing of Nan. Actually, I have sort of a drawing of Nan, so I can show it to you. But it was like this concept drawing of Nan, and I was like, oh wow, that's so cool, and that's me, but it's not me. And I was like, what is this? Like, what is this lack of eyebrow situation? And he's like, I don't know. They said you're like a Barzan or something. I was like, what's a Barzan? And everyone was like, oh, it's a Barzan. So I grabbed my phone. I'm like, look at that. What's the Barzan? And then I come across Bhavani, and I was like, wow. So you see the crimped hair and the big round disc with the, almost looks like like a horse bridle. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And then, and then after prosthetics is done, I remember walking out of the trailer, prosthetics trailer, and Anthony Rapp, this is the first time I met him, and he's walking by me and he's like, oh, hey. And I was like, hey, I'm such an awkward person. I was so awkward. I was like, hey. And he's like, so what are you? And I was like, I don't know, like a Barzan? And he's like, so like you can see he was like Barzan. Like he was going through the dictionary of aliens in his head, like I was like, I don't know. And then I go into beauty makeup, and Shauna, had this amazing, she's, set the tone really with Non's beauty makeup. And then I went into hair, and hair was tried out a different way. Like crimped was tried, and like a 60s sort of bouffant, straight was tried. And yeah, going in and the different like I tried on a skirt with the boots, and I tried on the pants with the red shirt, and it was like it was amazing because I was literally seeing this character being formed and on me, and it was wild because it was all of those amazing departments. Like it really puts it in perspective when you think of all the people that are involved with creating a character, and to see it, like to actually see it was it was so awesome. It was amazing. Yeah.
Rachel, your hair is beautiful, and I'm glad you didn't wear that crimp cut hair like the first original Barzan in Next Generation. It wouldn't have looked good.
Now, let me tell you this, okay? So after my screen test day, after that time at the studio, then I was invited to go for like a cast dinner. So with like the execs and the producers and the whole cast. And so I got to meet, first of all, again, super awkward. Second of all, surrounded by these amazing people who I'd seen in Discovery. And also my hair, I had been trying to tame it from the crimp. And that was very difficult. So I walked into that restaurant with ginormous hair. So Non would have had really, really big hair. I have very thin hair, but it's long, thin hair, but it would have been like out to here. It was huge. Very awesome, though. It appealed to the 80s lover in me.
80s.
Who doesn't love the 80s? I mean, leg warmers and crimped hair. I mean, come on.
Were you a Star Trek fan prior to landing the role on Star Trek Discovery?
I knew the original series, and that's by default through my mom, who was a super, you know what? I've never asked her if she's a Trekkie or a Trekker. That came up to me one day, and I was like, I don't know. And I still to this day haven't asked her. I should ask her that. But she loved, when she was a kid, she loved Star Trek. And my granddad, if you ask him about it, he'll tell you about this sweet little girl that was so angry about the possibility of it being canceled that she wrote in letters multiple times to CBS, like, how dare you even think of canceling my favorite show. But when I was a kid, it used to be on weekends, right? Reruns would be on weekends. So my mom there was no cartoons for me. No, my mom ruled the TV, and it was definitely Star Trek. Yeah.
We're slowing to impulse power after warping through another strong Star Trek interview here on A Captain's Log. And don't forget to join us for part 2 of our interview with Star Trek Discovery's Rachel Ancheril, who played Commander Non, next week here on A Captain's Log. Bye for now.
Hello, happy, my old friend. I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy.